Wondering how to remember names and faces? Is it hard for you or not? Picture this. You apply for a new job, have a business meeting, make a pitch to potential investors, or meet someone interesting and you wish to remember easily their names. And you don't want to get into trouble because you want to be an expert in conversation. So you hope to remember names easily to build your authority. Listen, in whatever situation you are, memorizing names is critical, yet ignored by many people. And I can tell you why. It's a skill. It takes time to push yourself to build self-discipline in order to form habit. But when you persist, invest in yourself, focus on this skill, it may open the door to countless opportunities. So wouldn't it be great if you could remember the names? Let's find out. Hey Doers, my name is Pat VC and I welcome you to our 7 Wealth Stages Framework channel that rewires your mindset to prosperity and better life, which I call holistic wealth. And now, you are watching a topic that is part of the first stage called Develop a Wealth Mindset. In fact, if you read the book How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie, he wrote in his chapter, if you never want to head into trouble, memorizing people's first name is the sweetest and most meaningful sound in any language, in social and business life. Do you see now why you need to develop this skill along with your mindset? Alright, so as a solution to this problem, I put together 7 steps on how to remember names and faces easily. Let's begin. Step number 7. Ask yourself why you want to remember names and faces. The simple answer is the reward. Because you want to get rewarded. It is one of the most powerful cognitive biases recognized by Charlie Munger. And you know the proverb, you reap what you sow. It simply means you face the consequences of your actions. And that's exactly the point of remembering names and faces. Let's say you are a consultant or you run an e-commerce store. As a consultant, and let's be honest here, do you directly start talking to your potential clients about strategies? Is this correct? I can tell you that's the wrong approach. What works great is asking your potential clients better quality questions first. But most importantly, learn to memorize their names. If you can't grasp it immediately, simply repeat, "Sorry, what's your name?" and use that name until you memorize it. Then follow the conversation by opening with a question about their interest. Because it's personal yet very powerful, and always say their names. As a result, you may get a new client with a monthly recurring contract. Another scenario could be when you meet someone for the first time, or you talk to customers who made a purchase on your e-commerce. Here, the same cycle repeats. It means to always remember their names first. As a result, it may boost your lifetime customer value just because you remember their names. Ponder how powerful it is. And again, always remember what Dale Carnegie said. If you remember people's names for them, it is the most meaningful sound in any language. Step number 6, listen and repeat. Have you ever noticed if you meet someone and you immediately start talking about your things? Your introduction is fast, your speech is fast, and you simply miss people's names. Then you jump into the major topic and totally forget and ignore their names. Well, my friend, that's the wrong approach. So let's take a step back. First, listen carefully. Write their names down in your personalized planner or on a napkin. It doesn't matter. And you can easily explain why you write it there, because it easily helps you to memorize their names. Because if you neglect it, it may be embarrassing to pronounce their name wrong. Eventually, it's a new skill that you just get started to build. You may even ask people about their tactics and how they remember names. So it's about listening carefully and repeating their names. And as a result, it elevates the flow of conversation and it makes people pay attention to you as well. Step number 5, the doer 100% concentration. This step is very important. How many times does someone talk to you and then you don't know what they said? Why does it happen? Because your mind is blown far away from reality. It means your mind is unconsciously preparing its own answer and totally ignoring the talk of that opposite person. Or you think about something unrelated. So how can you manage it? The simple answer is be quiet and train your mind to concentrate 100% on that conversation. Forget everything else. Listen, it takes time to learn this skill, but when you invest your time into this step, it leads to what I call the doer 100% concentration, to be present. And as a result, you rewire your mind from inattention and forgetfulness toward 100% remembering things. Step number 4, remember names and faces by visualizing. How's that possible? Curious? Listen. As you may have known, a visualization is a powerful tool and the first step to build goals. But speaking of remembering names and faces, you can assign people's names to something or someone you already know. For example, if your old classmate had the same name as the new person's name, it could trigger your mind to remember it easily. And you can even say something like, "Oh, your name is the same name as the name of my best old classmate." And believe it or not, it leads to faster remembering that name. Another example is the visualization of names using a specific object. I know it can sound absurd, but it is a great tactic. For example, if that person has the name Rose and you somehow can't remember her name, imagine a rose as a flower. Or name Steve, so think of a stove. Or Brian and the brain. You see, it can sound weird, but it can also favorably work for you. So be always aware of the power of visualizing. Step number 3, seek a specific feature on face or body. The truth is, when you connect a specific feature with a specific person, it may be easier to remember names. For example, the unique color of hair or the unusual shape of gleaming earrings. Maybe some people have a small scar above their eyebrow, a big mustache, or a tattoo on a wrist. Whatever it is, the connection between that feature and remembering that name can be life-changing. And the reason is simple. Because that feature strikes your attention and it goes quickly to your mind. And as a result, whenever those people call you or email you, your mind automatically pops up with that feature. Something like, "Oh, it's Jennifer, that woman with outstanding red lipstick." Step number 2, reiterate and emphasize names when saying "see you later" or "bye." This step is all about cementing that name into your subconscious mind. And here is why. Your mind is tricky. It doesn't want to remember new important things easily. So you need to convince it several times and plant in your mind a seed. For example, after a business meeting, investor pitch, interview, or wedding party where you have met someone who can form a partnership, always train your mind to say "Bye, Gabriel" or "See you later, Juliet." And to elevate this tactic is to emphasize that you will definitely want to meet or call them again. Even if you buy a cup of coffee, look at that staff's name card. And when he serves you coffee, say, "Bye, Ralph, see you next time." And the key principle here is this: you want to stay in touch with that person. So, can you sense how important it is? And the last step is stick names on the wall. Even if you cannot remember names and faces after completing the above steps, this tactic works best. If you saw my wall, you would notice it's full of colorful sticky notes. Ever wondered why? The answer is it helps tremendously memorize tasks, actionable steps, strategies, advice, and quotes of my mentors or any other important stuff. But it also helps to memorize names and faces. So, at the end of the day, when you get home, I want you to stick all the names you hope to remember on the wall. And when you look at it, it is your vision board. And as a result, you train your mind to memorize them. And knowing that the particular person you've met is important to you because it's literally glued to your wall. So anytime that person calls or emails you, you easily remember that name. And if you want, you can take it even step further. It means you can categorize your wall by attending events or by people's special features, as we talked about in the previous steps. As you can see, imagination has no limit to remembering names and faces. Simply said, it's about getting creative. Just try it and you will reap results. But keep in mind, invest your time and commit to remembering names and faces. It's about consistency to train your mind and develop a new habit. Does it make sense? Now, what about you? How do you remember names and faces? Maybe you feel trapped to find a starting point that would rewire your mindset. If so, leave us a comment below. At the Path VC 7 12 Stages Framework, we are here to show you the direction. Eventually, it is your revolution to rise and stand out from the average and mediocre life. Because you want to become a doer and you want to build a better life, which means holistic wealth. So that's all for today. Thank you, doers, for watching this video. If you enjoyed this video, I want you to like it or share it with your friends. It will help the YouTube algorithm push more love and inspiration to people who need it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next week.